bringing the aviation safety message to you via seminars, workshops, and videos using our aviation safety team representatives, which means our production crew is made up of almost entirely of volunteers giving their time to support aviation safety. After today's presentation, please take a few minutes to thank our stage, floor, and camera crew for their time and efforts. Our next presenter is Dennis Whitley. Dennis is an experienced airline transport pilot and certified flight instructor with 30 years private, corporate, airline, and flight instructor experience. He is certified under both the FAA and CAA organization, and his extensive experience covers everything from aerial photography to commercial aviation. Dennis is a lead representative for the FAA safety team, serves on the board of the Florida Association of Flight Instructors, and Airman Counselor and Safety Consultant. Let's welcome Dennis Whitley.
Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate it. Thank you. How's everybody doing this afternoon? I got this afternoon right, and that could be incorrect because we have an audience out on the web this afternoon. So we're being joined by a lot of people sitting in their living rooms and probably having breakfast and whatever. My name is Dennis Whitley, and I'm a lead representative for the FAA safety team. And I say for Florida, Central Florida, and I say for the U.S. in general. This will be viewed by people around the world, and that's, you know, we have pilots flying in different countries, different origins and different regions of the world, and we try to have outreach to as many people as we can. And that's part of what the Wings program is we're going to talk about today. As Vicki said, my background is in aviation. I also have a background in television. That's how I kind of got attracted to this place. I worked for NBC for many years, and I did the television scene. And when I got back to Florida, it's like, hey, these guys have a television studio on an airport. You know, you can't beat that. You know, so I get paid for doing both, but I volunteer, as Vicki says, and Vicki has been doing this much longer than I have. Vicki, I think you were instructor to the Wright brothers, right? I believe that's correct. Okay. I mean, you go way back there. You go way back there. I was her instructor, so that puts me older. So, no, we enjoy doing this, and we do this out of the goodness of our hearts. I do about 60 to 75, 80 or more seminars a year. That's sometimes often 2 or 3 a week, but I get to do some of them from the comfort of my home living room, as I have done this seminar here before, sitting in my shorts with my favorite beverage in front of the computer, talking to a group of people that I can't see. But it's kind of interesting that that's the way it's done these days. And if we didn't do that, we would not reach as many people. And like I say, the whole purpose of the Wings program is to reach out to individuals and give them knowledge about aviation safety programs, aviation safety, and aviation in general. I'm a very big aviation advocate. I have, for you guys locally here, we're having an event over at Peter Knight Airport called Islands Fest, and it's kind of planes, trains, and automobile thing. You know, why do we get involved with that? Because there are pilots there. And there are pilots that don't know about the safety team and pilots that need safety information. So I'm putting together some programs kind of for beginners. The EAA will be involved into it. We're going to get people to maybe build airplanes and get back into aviation, again, in aviation safety. All right, I'm going to kind of, I can't see the people on the web today, but I know that they're out there, and I've got a lot of people in the studio audience here. How many people in here are a member of FAASafety.gov? That's good. That's good. That's what I wanted to hear. You'd be surprised, and you guys can help me, and I know you may be new at this, may be old at this, but ask your partners, you walk through the complex today, you know, or if you see a pilot, how can you tell if it's a pilot at Sun and Fun? He'll tell you. Okay? He'll tell you. That's right. Somebody said, what's the difference between God and a pilot? God doesn't go over and tell everybody he's God. So, anyway, you'll run into it, but ask them if they know about the safety program. Surprisingly, you will get that deer in the headlights look, go, what safety program? And that kind of hurts from inside because we spend a lot of effort and money and talent out trying to reach out to these people. And how do we measure that? And I'm going to talk a little bit about the program and not get into the slideshow too much here, but how do we measure that? We look at accident rates and we look at incident rates, and the first thing we do is look up an individual that has been involved in an accident or incident, and we say, are they a member of safety.gov? And it's hard to prove what didn't happen. Now, if you attended a bunch of classes, I could say, yes, John attended 10 classes in a year. He's a good guy. He tried. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. However, we have found that out of 109 fatalities last year, 109, that 106 of those individuals had not been to a safety program of any sort. FAASTeam.gov, AOPA, SAFE, King's, anybody's program out there, or there was no record of it. That doesn't mean that they sat in every one of them and watched it on television and bought the DVDs. There's just no record. And that's kind of what we're worried about, because the people that have been to the safety programs don't seem to pile their airplanes up in the ground. And that's pretty much a fact as well. Like I said, that's a hard point to prove, because, you know, some of them you can question, some of them you can't. So we're after the ones that do not know about the safety program, and that's a hard task, because, you know, we don't want to bombard you with emails unnecessarily. We don't want to bombard you and says the government says. We want to say, hey, these seminars are free, just like today and just like on the web. No one pays a dime for it. It costs nothing to come out and listen to my jaws flat for an hour. I talk on airspace, I talk on IFR, I do holding procedures, I do airline procedures, I talk to various groups, I talk to instructors. I give probably 20 or 30 CFI Psych Flight Instructor workshops a year. So I talk to those group of people and to get them to get the word down to people. So that's kind of what I'm about, is to, you know, and you will see and remember things that I say today, because in my presentation there are some quizzes, and quizzes will get you points. And quizzes will make sure that we're all paid attention this afternoon, especially the people on the web. That's how we keep up with them. I can see the guy up there, he's petting his dog, he's not paying attention to me, and Johnny up there's reading his email. So pay attention, Johnny. And you guys in here, other than one gentleman, are mostly awake. So I can watch you guys there. But, you know, what is the whole purpose of the WINGS program? And that's what we're going to talk about today. The purpose is to reduce the accident rate in general aviation. Period. End of statement. We're not trying to do any miracles. We're not trying to save the world. We're just saying we want to reduce. We know that we want to eliminate it. There will be accidents. We hope we can curb that as much as possible, just simply by educational purposes. As my wife would say, she's a psychologist. She does this well. She does from here up. I do from here down. So I do the nuts and bolts, and she does the head work. But she will tell you, you know, if you can't have your butt in the seat, at least have your head in the cockpit, one way or another. And this is a way to have your head in a cockpit. You know, just sit down and listen to me for an hour, or anybody for an hour. There are courses out on safety.gov that you can go through. We're going to talk about those a little bit, you know. Sprout your wings and fly is what we say. Be a member of the safety program. Get your friends to be. You know, you go to the airport, all you do is just look at your partner next to you and go, you know, where you been? I went to a safety meeting on Saturday. You want to go with me next Saturday? And I can guarantee you they may look at you and go, what safety meeting? Well, safety.gov, and here we go. When you're going to be an expert at this when we get through with you by the end of the day, we're going to teach you how to do that. It's real simple. WINGS program, Proficiency Program, is the FAA's recurrent training program for general aviation pilots. It really is. You don't necessarily go with an instructor. However, I am an instructor, and I can certify you for this, that you attended this, and it is good for your WINGS credits. So it is a legal entity that goes in your logbook, your electronic logbook, that I can guarantee you if something happens to you, somebody's going to look and go, well, he was at the WINGS seminar April the 1st down in Lakeland, Florida. He made a concerted effort to come out. He also attended 5 other seminars at the other forums and saw airspace and maintenance-related issues, saw the NORAD program we had earlier. He knows about intercepting aircraft, and he's a pretty good guy. Let's go lightly on him, and that's kind of the way they look at it these days. If you have taken that effort, I can guarantee you if you get into trouble, you've got somebody on your side within the FAA if you attend. These are AOPAs or any other programs that are WINGS certified programs. And that's how that cookie kind of crumbles. It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card. But it almost is, okay? Provides opportunity to instruct and recognition of pilots to continue their aviation education. There's a logbook there, and it suggests things that you might find necessary to keep your particular rating current. So if you're a private pilot, it is going to automatically suggest, the program will suggest you need to go to this seminar. It'd be great if you go to this seminar. You go to this seminar. Do you need to go to a multi-engine course? No, but you can. And you can get credit for it. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, to advance your ability, advance your techniques. Nothing wrong with going to advanced courses, advanced instrument courses and holding patterns, even though you're working on your private pilot. Nothing wrong to expose yourself with a higher level of education. That's what it's all about. Pilots who do participate in the WINGS program in a group substantially have fewer accidents than their peers. I just talked about that. That over a period of time, we have seen that pilots that unfortunately have accidents, most of them have not gone for continuing education. Now, I'll stop and put a pin in that not necessarily wings programs, but also what follows suit of that is they will get their flight review every 24 months. You may not see any other record of them coming down and just flying with an instructor just for general principle. Say 6 months in or 9 months in, I thought I'd get with an instructor and go do some stalls I hadn't done in a while, or practice some short field takeoff landings. I'll give Johnny $50 to go around the pattern with him and, do a few things. Usually you don't see them do anything but just do the basic necessities that they need to do to keep their rating. There are individuals like that, and that's what we're trying to work on them, especially since this portion of it is absolutely 100% free. Okay? Mission of the wings is fairly simple. Reduce the number of GA accidents. By focusing on this objective, we expect to reduce the number of accidents we see each year. It's not a simple award program, it's a true proficiency program. Yes, you do get awards. You get a pin for your achievements and accomplishments, but most of all, you get it in your logbook. You get it electronically. And this is what's helpful. Let's just say that you attend 15 wing seminars and you got your logbook with you and you go in somewhere, well, that record's gone. This is electronically always out on the website. So if you have any problems or issues or wish to obtain a job somewhere, you could use this as a reference. Go over into your wings logbook, we'll talk a little bit about that, and say, hey, I attended 12 seminars once monthly last year. And you can print a transcript out of that, and it can go to your prospective employer if you're seeking a job in aviation, if you're that crazy. But or if you want to go broke, what's the old saying? You want to make $1 million in general aviation, you start with $2 million. We know that goes. But a lot of people do use that. Especially airline and instructor portals, that you can go out and say, here's what I have been doing. Your logbook's one thing, you can put anything in your logbook, but this is proven you have been to an officiated seminar. Now, we don't know about him, but he could or could not have been to a seminar, and once again, we talk about takeoffs and landings, stabilized approaches. Me and thousands of other representatives, Vicky, Rock Castle back there, which works for SimCom, and a couple of the other guys in here. That's what we do, and we do it for how much we make? Zero. We do it because we don't want to see anybody bust your fannies. That's why we do it. We want to pass that education along, and we want to see that go down the road. How do you participate in a wings program? Somebody tell me how to participate in it. You guys are a member in it. How do you participate? Sign up. Costs what? Nothing. Zero. Costs nothing to sign up. There's no fee. You don't get a credit card. You just sign up, and we send you the FAASTeam.gov. Once you fill out your information, the zip code, and establish where you are, it will send you an email say, hey, there is a seminar within 22 miles of your house tonight. It's free. It's at downtown Birmingham at the Civic Center. Joe Blow will speak on takeoffs and landings. You simply get in the car, you drive down, and you attend it. There are also computer-oriented ones, which we call webinars, and a few other things out there that a gentleman up in Pennsylvania by the name of Gene Benson, GeneBenson.com, does a tremendous amount of webinars, absolutely fantastic webinars. AOPA does them, gives wings credits. You don't necessarily have to come to us to get it. You can get it through many, many different sources out there, and that's what we encourage you to do. Is do that. So how do you participate? You sign up to get the emails. That is it, and you attend them. Online courses, you can go in and just about pick any online course at any level that you want to. If you're concerned about takeoffs and landings or crosswind landings as a private pilot, go take a course. If you get curious and want to know about multi-engine jet aircraft, go take a course. I can guarantee you'll find something to do with aviation out there. Now, there are some pay-for courses that are out there, and that's perfectly acceptable in the industry. A lot of people do that. A lot of the insurance companies now, Avemco was here this morning, we talked about that you get a break. And if you don't know that, take your wings courses over to Avemco, or once again, electronically, you can go into your wings and say, send my training transcript to Avemco at under this account number, under my name, blah, 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 aircraft number. It goes to them, they go, 15%, buddy. What's the old saying, 15 minutes or 15% less or something like that. So you do get a break for your efforts and your insurance. and you do get a break with the FAA in the event that something happens and you do something bad. Okay, as long as it's not intentional, you know, they're gonna help you out. And like I said, so there's online courses, there's live seminars and webinars, which you are at one now, and these people out in the web there are watching us on the on Google streaming this afternoon. They're watching streaming video. And by the way, if you missed it, something I say, or you didn't get to come one before this, go home, look up Sun and Fun, and you will find out on YouTube and Google these exact seminars that we're talking now. So they're out there. Flight activities, which is basically a little more effort on your part, and we hadn't kind of talked about that much, and I want to dispel some myths and rumors out there. Flight activities meaning your instructor has access to FAASafety.gov. He or she will be able to record your flight in this as well. So basically it's an electronic logbook. It's not for anybody to spy on or see what you do when you want to. You don't have to do it. You can have them write it in your logbook and not put it on the web if you feel uncomfortable with that, but it's to your advantage to have it out there. Because, like I say, it's electronically a proven track record of the effort and time that you're putting into this industry. Okay? Pilots who have participated in the WINGS programs, and you'll see there, it has grown exponentially over the years. We've had a little plateau because we've been on a 5-year little recession. A lot of people haven't flown. Guess what? The accident rate is down too. But guess what? Now the money's starting to flow again. People are starting to fly again. What's going to happen to the accident rate? It's going to slowly start creeping up again. Now, a lot of people have come out to my seminars because they said, you can't afford to fly, but I'll go watch Dennis for an hour. I don't know if I want to do that or not, but they do. And we have quite a following here in the Central Florida region. Uh-oh. Surprise for you people paying attention at home or not paying attention at home. We've got a little quiz here. So, let's see here. Talked about this earlier. The mission of the WINGS is fairly simple. What is it? What's the mission of WINGS? Somebody tell me in here. It's increased membership, right? Well, we don't get any money for that. That's not good. Investigate accident causations. Even though we do that. Reduce the number of GA accidents. I bet that's red. Okay, so how many of you got that? Looks like most everybody got that one right. And really, seriously, that's what it is. We're going to reduce it. We're not going to eliminate it. I can't tell you to go do this, do this, do this. Don't do that, and you'll be a safe pilot. I can only go out and hope you take that knowledge and think about, and I just got one that's sticking here, and some of them we can talk about, some we can't. We had a recent accident in Tampa. A gentleman ran out of fuel. Left Chicago, free fueled in Nashville, and hit the ground about 2 miles north of the airport out here Saturday morning 2 weeks ago. Had 4 ounces of fuel on board when he landed, crashed, whatever you want to call it. Killed him, his daughter, and pretty well maimed up a passenger, the friend of his daughter's. All questions of, you know, the simplest question, it's one of those accidents you look at that the simplest thing you can ask about that accident is, how many airports did he fly over that he could have landed at, just landed, or either landed and got more fuel? We don't know what happened. You know, it's no cockpit voice recorder. There's nothing going on out there. There's things that we won't be able to know. We can't even find a 777 that's hiding somewhere around the world. But how many airports did he, how many opportunities did he have to eliminate that? Pre-flight, you know, we haven't gotten to the particulars of it, you know. Did he calculate his fuel properly? Did he know how to calculate it properly? Was he switched to the right tank? All that stuff that you can just go on and on and on and on out there. How in the world did that happen? You just have to ask it, how did it happen? How did it happen? Maybe he didn't have me riding on his shoulders like I'm sitting here riding on your shoulders about, you know, it's just simple enough to park it somewhere and say, you know, I miscalculated. I need a couple more gallons to make it to my destination. Or I'm tired. I'll finish it tomorrow. I don't think it was a case of get-home-itis. I just think he didn't plan well. And we call that, you know, resource management. Risk mitigation, ever what you want to call it, it's just some common sense in some places. You know, he did not fly into bad weather, and the airplane did not fall out from under. He just simply ran the aircraft out of fuel. And those are opportunities. And it's like I said, with today's technology, that's a flight computer nowadays. You know what you can do with this. And especially, you should never, ever fly into bad weather. You can get how many, the Weather Channel, local weather, flight service. The FAA has products. The AOPA has products. There are tons of software out there that are absolutely free that you can find information about your flight to save your fanny. And I guess maybe he had a cell phone. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. But I think he had resources, computer resources of some nature to do that. Now, I'm not going to pass judgment. Something other could have happened. We'll know that in the long run, but, you know, it ran out of fuel. That's kind of what happened to it there. So, where do you start? Just like I said earlier, FAASTeam.gov, and I'm going to let you pass this along. Most of you guys are already members, but we'll hit on some things that maybe you're aware of and not aware of. You know, where do I start? FAASTeam.gov. Go there. The website, and over in the top right-hand corner for you guys at home, you'll see the mouse over there. So either forgot my password, email, or new to safety.gov, and that's where you start. And it's real simple. Name, address. They will ask for your pilot certificate. Why for your pilot certificate? Is so they can credit you properly with the wings credits that you deserve and give you information on what you might be needing. And like I say, it's a structured program. You do not have to follow the syllabi. Not at all. You can take it on your own accord, but it will help you. You know, it's kind of like picking lottery numbers. You're good for about 4 or 5 sets of lottery numbers, and then you start thinking, there's some computer programs that will generate some for me. Well, that's what this thing does. It says, you know, hey, you got this coming up. Your flight review is due. You need to study takeoffs and landings. You need to study airspace or whatever. But you can go do anything you want to do. So that's where you get started, right there in that corner over there. You sign up, or either you're already signed in and you log on. Like I say, go into your profile section. I'm not going to get too deep technically in this, but your profile section is an opportunity to put 3 zip codes in there. A lot of people don't know this. Most people put their own home zip code. Well, if you travel a little bit, leave one of them blank. And let's say that you're going down to Bowling Green to a horse show this weekend. Well, guess what? Put that zip code in for Bowling Green, Kentucky if you got a couple of days and go, well, look at this. There's a seminar next door over here across from the arena. Well, I'll do that one afternoon and then go. So a lot of people chase these things. A lot of retired people especially will set it up and chase these things like geocaching if you're into that, and chase seminars down. They'll chase CFI workshops down. And then the third one is maybe if you live in Tampa, you may want to put Orlando in there as well as a zip code to see what's going on over there. Maybe go over there with Disney for the weekend with the kids or something. You don't want to go to what they're going to, you go to a safety seminar, or you want to fly over and go to it. So you got that opportunity to get emails. Now don't bombard yourself with emails. Be careful, keep some of them blank, but it does have an opportunity to tell you where these seminars are as well as when they are and what they involved, and you can match that up to your needs or match it up personally to your needs. Okay, and that was circled over there. I forgot that was totally in there. Log in or create an account. Pretty self-explanatory. Create an account. Email address. Confirm your email address. The email address that you normally use and you sign into is like you will sign in and put your name back there today. And do you hold a current airman certificate? You don't have to put the airman certificate in there, but it won't get credited properly if you don't do that. So you want to do that, and it'll keep up with it. Keeps up with your ratings. Now, I get a lot of email that there's no place for me to add this rating. There's no place for me to add the certificate. And you have to think about the certificate that you're receiving. And I'm going to try to think about one gentleman called me recently. He didn't get, he didn't get his instrument instructor rating shown. There's no such thing, if you think about it. There's an instrument, there's an instructor with an instrument rating, but there's actually no ticket for that. You wouldn't get one in paper, so you won't get one in this. And it's like kind of crazy that it doesn't exist. And there are a couple of them out there that you may think, you know, why can't I get this? You know, multi-engine add-on, or well, it doesn't exist. You just got a multi-engine VFR, no such thing. It's just you have a multi-engine rating, you don't have an instrument rating. So there's no rating for multi-engine VFR. You see what I'm getting at? So a lot of people will call and say, you know, there's no place for me to sign up for that. My instructor couldn't find it. Think about it. If you turn that ticket in, you're not going to get anything for it. You got a multi-engine rating. Not multi-engine VFR. Anything in that is multi-engine rating. So a lot of people kind of hit that one. And that's the reason to put your airman certificate in there, because it does know the proper and correct ratings that you hold and will display on your certificates in your hip pocket out there. Okay, there's the zip codes I talked about. And you can put a radius out there with it as well. The bigger that radius is, the more you get. Mine run out to 250 miles because I watch everything that's going on. I like to see what Vicky's doing over there so that they don't conflict with what she's doing. You know, maybe we got a seminar kind of close. Well, I see she's doing one thing. I'll do something different so we don't collide, you know, and bore the person that's in the area. You know, which one do I go to? We'll help you out with that. So there's a lot of technical reasons we do that. But anyway, you can, like I say, you can fill it out in any zip code you want to. I mean, like I say, if you travel and you work in another state or frequent in another state, and you're bored and want something to do, put that zip code in there and find out what's going on in Birmingham next weekend. You'll get an email if there's anything going on there. Okay. A lot of stuff in there on activities, courses, seminars, and webinars. You don't necessarily have to depend on getting emails. You can search for a particular zip code if you want to, upcoming seminars. Sometimes if I'm traveling a little bit, I'll throw one in there and say, you know, what's going on in Greensboro, what's going on down in Miami, and nothing going on, or either I'll go. So that portion of it there is courses and seminars, and just about any kind of course. Myself, along with a lot of other guys, will sit at home and we put courses online. They're never seen live anywhere. They're just a course, and I'm sure that you've taken these before. They're called articulates, and they're really good. You can't fail them. You have to pass with 100%. Takes a little bit of time, and you don't have to do it all in one setting. You can start that, come back to it tomorrow, come back to it the next day, come back to it the next day. It remembers where you are till you complete the course, and it will help you make 100% at it. Some people say that's good, some people say that's bad, but what are we trying to do? Educate you, not test you. You get tested enough during life. You know, if we come and go over the answer with it and explain it, you got the message. Who cares if you make 100 or you make 60 on it, as long as you, you know, a lot of people don't like that theory, but in this stage of the game, we're trying to learn something out there, okay? The banner in the middle there, you see always sorts of information. If you cross the line, you cross the line. The air show will be there. Hot topics, takeoffs and landings, runway incursions. We have a huge problem with runway incursions in some of our areas here locally, and we're addressing that specifically per airport. So we have the opportunity on my side. I could go in and say, I want to do a CFI workshop in Sarasota, Florida on the 26th of next month, and all I want is instructors to attend. I can blanket that out, and if you're private, multi, and you're not an instructor, you will not get that email. So that's the reason sometimes you may say, well, I didn't get an email on such and such, and I saw this seminar over here. What's the deal? Well, you're not an instructor. It's not that you're not invited. It's that we have a limited amount of room in a specific group we want to target. So that's how we do it from our end. So the system is very flexible if used properly for you guys that are instructors or other FAASTeam members out there as well. The wings logbook is exactly what it says. It goes in and shows you what your wings are, and you can send that transcript to an individual, a company, a prospective employer, whomever necessary. You won't have to copy it. You won't have to paste it. You want to put it in a Word document, just say, boop, send my record to joesmith@joe.com. There it went, just like that. And they've got it on the other end. Insurance companies, whomever requests that information. Okay, it also will show you your status, basic wings, advanced wings, master wings, when your last flight review was given. And like I said, the flight review is not important as the stuff in here in the middle. When did you do things since your flight review? What did you do? Now, like I say, it's expensive to maybe go out and put an instructor in there with you every 6 months. So why don't I just sit at home and take a couple of these courses? You know, I can turn that off and go out and cut the grass and come back. I can't do that, I'm an instructor. If you're going to take some advanced ground. If you're going to do the flight thing, you got to go get in the airplane and do it. But this will help you. So you may want to decide, you know what, I'm going to go out to the airport. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of a ride, but I'm going to take it in a multi-engine airplane or complex airplane, even though I'm not rated. I want that time, but I don't know much about it. I don't want to waste a lot of time with an instructor. I'm going to go take a course on complex airplanes, or multi-engine airplanes, or jet, or turboprops, or whatever. Then I will go out with my instructor. I'll be advanced about the knowledge about it. We'll spend a lot less time in the airplane trying to figure things out. You can take courses on the Garmin, the Avidyne, the Garmin 3000, the 1000s, and you go check out the glass cockpit. Take a couple of courses online on advanced aircraft, then go out and get with your instructor. You'll save some money and some time. Okay? My wings activities and pre-selected for you sometimes, as I mentioned. Sometimes the system makes a wrong choice. It gets a little confused sometimes depending on what's in the area, but you can weed that and go, way over my head, or I'd love to go to it. Search feature to make different choices of activity, like I said. The system is very flexible. You cannot break it. It is free to use, and I suggest you get some time one afternoon, sit down and play with it. You will not break it. If you do, you just reboot. Here's a typical screen off of someone's, don't know whose it is, initial certification renewal reinstatement of flight instructor certificate. Well, that's what they did. He took a course on Part 93 operations here. There's a biggie, the Washington, D.C. Special Flight Rules. You may never fly in Washington, D.C. or New York City. It is well worth the time to go look at these two courses. It's mandatory if you're going to fly up there. So why not put it in a logbook? You know, you will learn something, I guarantee you. And you go, well, how do they do that? Oh, wow, I didn't realize that, you know, you got a contact and you got certain visual perspectives. You see it, you know, you've seen the accidents on the Hudson before, you know, wonder how they do that. This will run you through that and how to do it. Like I say, you may not ever do it, but you can apply that in other areas, going into Atlanta, Orlando, whatever, and go, wow, you know, maybe I didn't know this. Maybe I need to report this out. The Class B airspace exists over here and not over here. Here's where I can find additional NOTAMs, TFRs, and so forth. I'm doing a presentation, if you saw the presentation before this on being intercepted, we're doing a video this week I'm going to be a part of. I'm going to be the bad pilot. I'm going to be the one that goes, you know, it was a pretty Saturday afternoon. I usually check my NOTAMs. I usually check what's going on. I was just going to run over to Orlando and get a sandwich. I had no idea that Mr. Obama was going to be there too. That's what that airplane was doing out there. So, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And the way the script goes is well, aren't you a member of safety.gov? And I go, what? Safety.what? And then there's the other side that we're going to show. Yes, I am. I neglected to do what I was supposed to do. Or either, we got several versions of it. I will say, you know, if I had not gone on that course over at Sun and Fun, I wouldn't have known to check my NOTAMs and what that guy was trying to tell me out there. I was getting close to the airspace. I called flight service. They tell me what was going on. I said, I'll go to Orlando next weekend. That's all it would have taken. So that's what that's out there for. Where to get this information? That's simply all it is, because some of you guys have carried a ticket for a long time, and this industry has changed. The way we fly, the way September 11th happened, has changed aviation for the face of ever. It's not the same anymore. You know, it's kind of sad. I'm over at Clearwater Airport a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm waiting on the group to get there, and I kind of walk to the back of the door where the ramp is, and I go, oh, cool, Cherokee 14 ASTA. Well, I think I'll go out there and, there's a cop car out there, security guy out there. You know what? I'd have been on the ground in 2 minutes. So were the Kings, if you remember that one. Sorry, Bob, if you're listening, but, John, I can't go out on that ramp anymore like we used to. You can't go out there and smell the airplanes anymore and look at them like you used to. That's changed. The way we fly has changed. We just can't jump out and go fly anywhere anymore. This system will help you with that. It will help you tremendously with that. And we run into it continuously. We were recently over, I go to Clearwater because I do this side over here, and we spent an hour in the room talking about complex, not complex airspace, but airspace, Class B airspace. There's a gentleman in the back of the room goes, well, how can I go from Sarasota up to Clearwater Airport without talking to you guys? And the air traffic manager for the Tampa facility over there just grabbed her head and just says, sir, I'm sorry, but I hate to be rude, but did you not listen to me for the last hour? You cannot do that. Don't try it. That was simple. They explain in verbose detail, you know, airspace. We tried that, and there's just some people that, you know, can't get that. But that's the outreach effort we do. If he goes and does that, then, you know, you kind of got to blame him. But for somebody that did not know that they do have to contact, you know, you've heard that, oh, you flew in the TCA. You know, what's a TCA? Anybody remember what a TCA is? There you go. That's what we used to call it, you know. But, you know, things have changed, and that's all this is free information to help you guide yourself through the airspace that we're in these days, and the aircraft and the systems that we fly in these days. I'm very adamant about I do a lot of air traffic control stuff. I used to teach air traffic control. And somebody says, well, you know, why do I need to talk to ATC? And I said, you know, why do you have a cell phone? In case something happens. Hello? In case something happens. We had an instance here a couple of years back. A gentleman had taken off from Fort Lauderdale, was going up to Titusville, and he was on an IFR flight plan in VFR conditions. You know, he just was doing the right thing, talking to the guys, and he goes, I got an engine problem. And they go, like, what's your dead location? Got you. Squawk 7700, we got you. He said, do you want to declare an emergency? He said, I don't think so at this moment. Guess what? ATC declared one for him. When it seized on him, he landed on the expressway. There was a fire truck 100 yards behind him. That's pretty cool. Had he not done that and he had gone out in a swamp somewhere, they still may be looking for him to this day. That's just as simple as it is. Now, you know, there are areas you can fly and go privately and not have to deal with them, but today's time with presidential motorcades and even lower echelon than that, it's advisable to just call and check a NOTAM. And how do you know to do that? Because we're going to show you how. All these courses in here, how do I check NOTAMs? How do I read NOTAMs? How do I deal with flight service? How do I fly in Class B airspace? You can find a course on it somewhere. And once again, what is it? Free, right, Vicki? Doesn't cost a dime to do that. You may go over to Vicki. Vicki goes, I don't have time, you know, I got, you know, ground, you want to take some lessons or whatever, and she said, why don't you go over? And us as flight instructors use this as a money-making tool, by the way. And if you are flight instructors and are familiar with the system, let me tell you how you can put money in your pocket and mine. No, a student walks in and, you know, you had to tell them, the airplane just came back and it's got a problem. I'm sorry, we will have to reschedule next weekend or later. A. Or B, we got a cold front moving in, and it's just going to be terribly bumpy out there today. You might want to reschedule for next weekend. However, since you already have the time available, why don't you and I go in here for a reduced fee, whatever you want to charge, and sit down on safety.gov, log on, and they're going to say safety.what, and that's where you start to make your money, by the way. That's overtime. But if they are a member, you go in and say, let's sit down and take a course on the DC airspace, or let's sit down and take a course on weather. Let's sit down and take a course on aeronautical decision making. Haven't had that yet, have you? I'll do it for $10 an hour. I'll do it for $5. I'll do it for free, whatever you want to charge. Utilize that as a tool to educate your student with and make you some money at the same time. People go, it's kind of brilliant. Yeah, because otherwise you go, see you next week. No, don't lose that commodity. It's hard enough out there to start with in general aviation to make money. Okay? So, many ways to utilize this website out there. Quick wings is just a quick shot of your snapshot of your wings here. Let this thing shows you where you are. Single engine land, multi-engine land, single engine. You're working on balloon because it's orange there. So it tells you where you are at any point in time. And once again, suggests and gives you help. It picks lottery numbers for you. After you've picked the first 4 or 5, you know, what else do I need? It's just, you know, complicated. Let's see what it'll suggest for me. You can either choose to do it or you don't have to. All it is saying, suggesting you might be interested or might need to take this course in your level of where you're flying out there. Okay? And there's basic, advanced, and master sections of it. And your instructor, if they don't, tell them about safety.gov, tell them to call me. Look me up, and I will explain to you. It's really simple. A lot of people have tried to make wings complicated and go, no, it's not like it used to be, and we used to sign the back of your logbook when you came for one of our seminars. Well, that was good as long as you kept that piece of paper with you. But now, you know, if you go to, I don't know, you go over to Vandenberg Airport and say, you know, I want to check out in the 172. What kind of time do you have? What's your recent, you know, what's your currency? You pop this up, go in the computer in there in the pilot's lounge, and you go, here I am. I've been to 17 seminars in the past week. Yes, I go during the night. I take them online, and you can, by the way. You can, but that's the advantage. You do not have to, if you live in Florida, take one at 9 o'clock at night, because you might find a Los Angeles webinar that's at 6 o'clock in the afternoon for you, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and take one that you couldn't take. Take advantage of that time zone that's happening. You have to remember, the world doesn't live in Eastern time zone. So that's the advantages of having it around the clock. You can find seminars 24 hours a day and take the courses 24 hours a day if you want to. So anyway, that's a quick shot of your logbook. And it's really that simple. Go home and play with it and break it out. And utilize the knowledge. Somebody said, I forget the famous writer's name, said, how did you become a famous writer? He said, I took solitaire off my computer. People at home laughed about that. You got it? Okay. So he wasn't playing solitaire anymore. He was doing active stuff. Okay. You're kind of dying here, Dennis. So, no, utilize it to, utilize your time. If it's a rainy day or whatever, do go in, look at it, play with it. Like I say, start a course, come back to it later. That's about as simple as it gets there. Yeah, here it is again for you folks at home. You folks in the audience here have seen this, so we're going to give you a little bit of a chance here. Where do I sign up for wings? AOPA.com? You could, roundabout way. FAASteam.gov? You'd be surprised. I mean, a lot of people think FAA.gov. It's FAASteam.gov. But if you go to FAA.gov, you will see FAASteam.gov. You can get to it. Or FAA.gov. The real true answer to that is B, obviously. But you'd be surprised. And this is, like I said, for people out there today that do not know about the WINGS program, do not know about the safety program and what it is about. It's just simply to reduce the amount of accidents in general aviation. We didn't say stop people from killing themselves, reduce the number of accidents. That's all we can expect to do. Okay? Like I said, we're not miracle workers. We just hate to see an accident like the one that happened in Tampa recently. Just totally like unexcusable. Those are the ones that really just make you want to bang your head against the wall. When you got to go back and look, what did his first instructor teach him, or what was his first instructor taught? Fuel. It takes gasoline to make one of them go. Granted, there are mistakes, there are holdings and all, but I think this one we're going to find was just totally avoidable in this case. And like I say, couple it up with no record of continuing education. I'm not going to say necessarily training, because continuing education can be sitting in here and me doing this. I'm not really training you this afternoon. We're just talking about aviation, making you think about it a little bit. Okay. You look at some of them, I got thousands of pictures. Some I show you, some I can't show you. What's the balloon in the power line? Maybe he didn't check the weather, maybe he didn't check his NOTAMs, maybe he didn't check the terrain. Maybe he just made a mistake and had a couple of balloon lessons and thought he was good, or maybe he hasn't been up at a balloon in a while. Okay. The activities, and I talked about this a little bit before, activities are tied directly to topics and most often associated with common pilot errors. We are tasked as FAASTeam members. We pretty much can do what we want to do, and we do that out of our experience. Vicki just has hundreds and hundreds of hours of presentations that she can talk on. Our bosses call and say, we have a problem with takeoff and landings at the moment. Let's focus on that. And guess what our bosses do? We don't have to spend the effort. They send us a pre-approved DVD that probably one of us have done, and that's the message for the day. So it's easy for us, and we go pass that information along to you. And I'll give you an incident where we had here in the local area over the past 6 months. Our little area has become significant in the amount of pilot deviations and runway incursions. So they come to us and say, go find out what's happening. And we did. And let me tell you what was interesting about this. I'm in a room full of people like you guys down in Sarasota. And there's a guy walks through the door, and he goes, am I in the right place for the safety seminar? And I said, yes, sir, you sure are. I says, how can we help you? He says, well, I tell him I might need to come to one of these safety seminars. It's pertinent to some activity I've been doing. I said, well, what type of activity was that? He says, I'm the one that had to jump over the other airplane on the runway out there 2 weeks ago. And I went, whoa, isn't that special? But he came. He admitted, he said, I screwed up. I didn't pay attention. What happened was they cleared him to hold short. He'd been taking a few lessons way back, and he got in his mind hold short meant position and hold. He taxied out on the runway, and somebody almost creamed him. Unfortunately, 10 years prior to that, somebody did cream 4 instructors in an airplane there. Same place, same time, same scenario. he just blundered. He just blanked out, got confused at the terminology. Air traffic control was rushing him a little bit. A lot of factors played into it. Nobody got hurt. So there he was. And I thought, this is pretty cool, you know, because I said, are you familiar with our program? He says, I am now. Well, a little too late, but, you know, they're working it out with him at this point in time. But he walked to the door and said, you know, I want to know what I did wrong. I understand, I think, but I want to know how I got to that point. Maybe see what my instructor missed. And we looked at all portions of, you know, of that puzzle. And there's a lot of complicated things that went into it, but it happens a lot. The airport has some hot spots. At that particular airport, because of our efforts, is the reason that you now see hot spots appear. Everybody familiar with hot spots? It's a spot on an airport that not necessarily is bad. It's just bad design, and you know it. It's kind of like that proverbial stop sign with a big tree. Nobody's going to cut the tree down. Nobody's going to move the stop sign. Nobody's going to do anything but let everybody know it's a dangerous spot to slow down. So that was the purpose of it, and that's kind of, we got 2 hot spots put on that airport. Hopefully now that somebody will look down and go, oh, hot spot, I better watch out. So that was the accomplishment we got out of that. We're not going to stop anybody from doing it, but we're going to make them think about it, you know. And that's the point. We'll go in and focus on that area. And if it's in your area and you see the seminar come up, you know, I fly out of that airport a lot. Maybe I should pay attention. Now, the funny thing out of that was, and you kind of got to look at this whole big picture sometimes of where we are and the training we have and the complexities of it, because we tell our neighbors that they're not capable of doing this because we're geniuses, we're pilots, right? Remember I told you, tell me if it's a pilot. So there's a security guard lets me in the door of the facility, and he hangs around, and we get to talking about aviation, and he's a security guard. That's all he knows. He knows that, and we talked about it. He says, well, I said, do you travel throughout the airport? He said, yes, sir. He said, but I don't move unless I got this radio with me and this cell phone. He said, I have to ask those guys for permission to even let the window down in the car. I said, that's a good thing, you know. And I said, do you know what happens? Do you know the difference in the runway and the taxi? Now, this is a non-pilot. You know the difference in the runway and the taxiway? And he said, pretty much so. You know, I've been to the training courses. That's good. He said, well, let me ask you a question, Mr. Whitley. I said, what is that? He said, these signs that are out here and this yellow line on the road, and I said, taxiway goes taxiway, means I can't go any further past that line. He said, I believe it is. If the lines are on me, I have to stop. If there's dashes on in front of me, I can dash across. I said, very good. Somebody's done a good job with you. He said, well, I got a real interesting question. He says, why didn't you just paint a stop sign on the road? And I stopped it, and I thought about that for a minute. I goes, well, because you're not talking about putting a stop sign up, but wing would hit it, right? He goes, no, no, no. He said, why didn't you just paint a stop sign? Why did you recreate something totally different from what most of the whole world knows is red and octagonal with white letters on it? And I'll get back with you, sir. Because, I mean, that was really a good point. I mean, this guy, you know, why did we do, you know, all these arrows and stuff. We used to yield signs and stop signs and yellow flashing caution lights. We've created a whole new thing for pilots to learn. Some of that came from Europe and the ICAO and a couple of other things. We all know that, but it's just kind of funny. You had to think about he there in conjunction with the other guy, and I'm going like, oh, if the security guard kind of gets it, why didn't the pilot get it, you know? So anyway, just kind of a funny story to humor things up there, but that's what it's all about, is teaching. Both of them walked away. Even the security guard, he hung out. He said, you know, I want to kind of know, so that, you know, that was interesting. I didn't know some things. I understand. He knew the signs. He didn't understand why he was stopping and starting and had to avoid, be careful. When I got through with him, when I got through with the class, they all understood that, and I'll talk about this briefly because this is part of the training course, and I'd like to ask this question to see where we are. If I clear you to runway 5 via taxiway Mark, or it's taxiway Mike and Tango, you're cleared to cross runway 10. We have that conversation. You crank your airplane up. You get your airplane started. You start to taxi out. Are you cleared to cross that one way I cleared you to cross? I said the magic words. Taxi to runway 5. You're cleared to cross runway 10. Are you cleared to cross that runway? Everybody agree with that? Are you smart to cross that runway? No. Stop. Unless he gave you that clearance 100 feet in front of it, stop and ask. Because guess what can happen in 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes from the time that clearance was given to you? A Dash 8 comes up that's hopping, skydivers say, got to airport and sight, can we land? They go, cleared to land. You're over on ground where you didn't pay no attention. You go across that runway, you haven't heard the latest information. So what happens if you stop and ask air traffic control if you're really cleared to cross that runway? In reality, what's going to happen? Yes, I told you 10 minutes ago you're cleared to cross runway 10. That's changed, my friends. Out of that whole sequence of things we've done, we brought that to ATC's attention. And now the answer you get, yes, sir, you are cleared to cross runway 10. Thank you very much for asking. That's the answer you'll get nowadays. If you don't, call us. That's the answer you are awarded, and you're respectful of getting. You're just checking again to make sure, within reason. I mean, like I said, if he clears you, don't ask him again. But, you know, if it's been a couple of 2 or 3, 4, 5 minutes on a busy little airport, we're cleared to cross runway 10. Roger, cleared to cross runway 10. Thanks for asking. That's the answer you should get. You don't get that answer, you call somebody on this side of the house, and we'll address it. Because we know that there's a problem on that side of the house as well. By the way, ATC is not perfect. You can call up and pick up the phone in a minute and go, bad boy down here in KABC Airport. He's, you know, kind of growling at us and telling me, you know, I'm stupid and everything else. Don't take it. Call ATC back. That's part of it. Tell them you heard Dennis say that at the seminar. I got no problem with that. But then, anyway, that's the kind of things we get into interactive discussions at these things. That's why it's important to get out and go to these seminars if you can, or join them online if you can. I want to kind of get through the rest of this here. What's involved: activities, aeronautical decision making, performance limitations, pre-flight planning, risk management, fuel management, takeoffs and landings in the flight topics, positive air traffic control, including loss of control issues, basic flying skills, just about anything you want to know about aviation you can get out of one of us long-winded FAASTeam people there. And you hopefully don't end up something like that there. What I get out of it, like I said at the very beginning, you get knowledge, peace of mind, recognition. You do get your wings pins. You get awards. If you hang out long enough for 50 years, you get some awards like we're giving away this week for your concerted efforts for aviation for 50 years. And you get the experience side of it. That's really what you want to do. You want to walk away and go, I knew a whole lot more than I did before I walked in the door 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, or 5 seminars ago. That's really all you want to. Now, take this knowledge out there with you today and experiment with that a little bit. Find out one of your buddies, friends, or anybody, acquaintance you walk into, you're sitting at the restaurant tonight, you know, hey, I went over to the wings seminar of the safety.gov building today. People go, you went in the FAA building? They didn't lock you up and arrest you and put you in a cage? No, they didn't. You go out. Vicki knows as well as I do. I have no more authority than you do, sir, in aviation. I don't. They don't give me a badge. They don't give me anything. We can walk out on the airport somewhere and you'll see people run. You can clear an airport, and you want to get takeoff clearances? I'm with the FAA safety team. That airport will clear out, and you go anywhere you want to go. That's just the way it is. But there's a group of them that flock to our seminars, also on the other side of the fence, that know better. And that's the message we are trying to get across out there. Okay? What do you get out of it? You get the recognition of it. And you do. You get acknowledged by the FAA side of it, and that's where it counts. You know, you might get yourself in a little hot water, but you take some of this knowledge in there and share the knowledge that you've had with these seminars and so forth, you're going to get a break at it. I know these guys down here and I know the guys throughout the industry. If you're not, call me. We'll see what we can do about it, okay? That's pretty much it. And I did want to talk about the basic and advanced and the master level, depending on what type of ratings you have, what type of certificate you have. At the ratings you will get, and you can advance yourself right up to it, you know. And let me just back up a little bit and do one thing for you, though, and I have to be honest about it. On the other side, it doesn't count for anything. You don't have to go to a wings course to keep your rating up. Okay? You don't have to go to a wings course to keep your rating up. It's for you. It's for up here. That's what we would like to see changed. I don't know everybody looks at that, but we would love to see maybe it made a regulation that you do attend 1 or 2 seminars within your flight review just to help things along out there. Okay, that's kind of what the advanced and so forth is about. That's it. I could go on. This program here is for some advanced knowledge for instructors out there that I'm going to be doing it later on this week. Does anybody have any questions about the wings programs or any particular instances that you've run across you need to question? Yes.
Wait till the mic gets there.
Oh, hang on. I got a microphone coming.
It's with regards to what's up on the screen now. I have a few activities from over the years. I've gotten credit for things at both the basic and the advanced level. I'm not sure what it takes to complete a level or whether you're required to complete a level before moving on to the next level. I just don't know how it's structured or where to find that information.
It's on the website under My Wings. It will explain that to you. And no, you can hop, skip, and advance and jump around. I mean, you can go up and get your master and come back and get your basic later. There's no pressure one way or the other at it. Just at your convenience. After basic level 1, he's correct.
And you get different wings?
Yeah, and you get different wings for it too. But take it at your own pace, your own knowledge. Like I say, you get your basic level 1 down. You want to go do advanced multi, go do it. You can't do some of the flight activities. Well, some of the flight, I mean, you can. There's nothing that says you can't go take a ride in a King Air. It goes in your logbook. Maybe someday you'll come back and pick that up. Maybe you had the money to do it. But I always take my students. At some point in time during their private, I take them for a ride in a complex aircraft or either the Lear or Citation or something to get them exposed to what the professional environment is like. Not that they're going to do anything with it. I just like for them to see, ooh, there's a different way of doing this, a real safe way to do this, because now you got 2 people involved, you're reading checklists, and it's real cool. And they'll go back and behave like that too. That helps. I've seen a modification of behavior, come back from a guy that's a single engine pilot to come back and ride, and he's reading that checklist, and he's got his wife reading the checklist and doing things too. Hope that answered your question. Did you have a question over here? I saw another hand. Okay, otherwise, I thank everybody for coming out. I hope this got you out of the hot weather for a while. Please get out and enjoy sun and fun this afternoon, and spread the word. Get people to come over here, and there's another forums building on the other side of town. Just about anything you want to know about aviation, you can do it. I thank you. Vicki thanks you, and the safety team thanks you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dennis. That was a nice presentation. Thank you, folks. If you'd exit out to that door over there to your right. Thank you.